So there was a whole ecosystem that grew up around the illegal gay bars, where the mafia paid off the police protected the bars, and the politicians who wanted to periodically clean up New York would send the police in to raid the bars, close them down, arrest the managers, arrest people who weren't dressed appropriately, and then the bars would reopen the next day with new liquor and maybe even a new name.
So a lot of us got jobs on McDougal, on Bleecker, bussing tables, cleaning up after the people left from the restaurants. And I got a job with the Mafia. They had a pizzeria on McDougal and Bleecker, and I got a job with them, and this guy liked me, for some reason. Maybe he thought, I was a kid and, he wanted to help. And he had a bar. Well, first I started running numbers for him, and eventually he opened up a bar here on Barrow Street called the Bohemia Cafe, and he gave me a job as a bouncer there. And I was about 16, 17 years old, so I made my living that way. But we made our living, prostitution, robbing stores, you name it, we were trying to survive on the streets. There were no organizations to help us. Queerness was something to be put down on, so nobody really wanted to help us except our own community at times. But there was nothing out here. No, there was nobody to help us. So we made the best of what we could do, whether it was crime or legitimate stuff. But we survived. Some of the Mafia were gay, but they couldn't be out about it. But the community knew which ones, They were all right with us. They gave us jobs. They gave us a place to go to. They charged a lot of money, back in those days. But it was a safety place for us. We could go into these places. We could dance. We could drink together. We could, have conversations. We couldn't go into coffee shops as a group of queers, We couldn't stand on corners as a group of queers, and hang around. We were always being chased or harassed and beat up or arrested, and all of these things. So these bars that the Mafia ran were escape places for us, where we could be ourselves. We could dress the way we wanted to dress, dance with each other, So they gave us, even though it's the Mafia and they charged us a whole lot of money and, everything else, it gave us a safe space, and we're thankful for that. At least I am. I had a place to go.
The bottom line about LGBTQ people was that they really just wanted to live their lives. But the government made that very difficult. In 1953, President Eisenhower signed an executive order barring gay people from federal employment. So thousands of people lost their jobs. Many people killed themselves because they couldn't get jobs again after that. So as the pressure grew on gay people organized. So the first organization was founded in 1950. And one of the challenges they faced in the early days was that the police entrapped gay men in particular. So they would, it's a little hard to imagine now, but they would find ways of, they'd go to gay bars, they'd go to gay beaches where there were gay people, and they would get gay men to say something or do something that would suggest that they were trying to solicit them for sex and arrest them. So the early gay rights organizations, the Mattachine Society, was very involved in trying to prevent entrapment, and when gay men were entrapped, to get them out of jail. So the first organization was founded in 1950 by 5 guys in Los Angeles. The second organization was founded in San Francisco by a group of lesbian couples. It's called the Daughters of Bilitis. It wasn't a movement in the way that we came to think of it later. It was only a relative handful of people who were involved. Their goals were very modest for the most part: to get the police off the backs of gay people, for lesbians in particular to find a way for people to fit in and actually be able to have jobs and work, because so often gay people, at least gay people who were visibly gay, at least in the way that we think of gay people stereotypically, often had difficulty getting work.
Because being LGBTQ at this time was illegal, it was a criminal activity, especially being served alcohol at bars. You would also be discriminated against in your normal everyday life and at work as well, and you could be arrested. So many people, if you were LGBTQ, would gather at the Stonewall Inn to be with their friends and their loved ones and celebrate together and just talk about life.